Hello and welcome to another edition of the For the Love of Creatives podcast. You are listening to Dwight. I'm joined by Maddox, and today our special guest is Dina Elsaid. Welcome, Dina. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you're about?
Hey, Dwight and Maddox. Hello. So, I'm an artist based here in DFW in Dallas, and I'm Egyptian born and raised, but I've been living in the US for almost 14 years now. Almost five of them here in Dallas. I'm a mom of two little kiddos and three little fur babies. So, uh, so yeah, and I basically do like visual art. Like I paint mostly in watercolor. I do a lot of drawing. Most of my art is very like figurative. um I can't say it's a lot spiritual, but it's very much influenced by my background coming from Egypt, regardless if it's like ancient Egyptian or other Egyptian heritage in there. So yeah, that's basically it. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I've had the chance to see some of your work, some of it very figurative, some of it very colorful and playful. And I can appreciate the influence. Like you really lean into some of the fun tropes about what it is to be in Texas, some cowboy motifs, some fun play with boots and that kind of thing. Tell me a little bit about how you got into art. Like what were the very beginnings?
So it's a bit like a bit much. So, yeah. So I've been always like in love with sketching and drawing all the time since I can remember. Like I always doodle in my notebooks at school, in the classroom, and all of that. But um I wasn't able to become like what I want. I had to do like what was expected from me. So I'm a physician in my home country. So I'm an ophthalmologist and eye doctor, and I have been to medical school and graduated with a bachelor's degree and did my internship there and everything. So kind of like art was always in the very, very background. Until I moved here to the US, I was lucky I remember like moving with my ex-husband to New Orleans, and I was lucky to find this place there. It's called Academy of Fine Arts. And I started like taking classes, but it's like very casual, go when you want kind of thing. And I started getting back into like not I've always doodled, but learning more about like painting, like using different mediums. So yeah, so and since then I've kind of like uh been making art, but I started showing my art probably in the past like 4 years. I was
Oh,
always
wow.
making art, but never really showing it. Like it was always like very intimate, like just self-expression, stuff like that. So yeah.
That's amazing. I can't help but kind of see how even with what you chose in medicine, how it kind of whispered, how it kind of pointed in that direction, like ophthalmology. Like there was definitely, I think it definitely informs visual mediums because I mean, you're talking about how it is that you perceive what it is that we see on the outside world. That's amazing.
It's very detail oriented too, which is something that I even like do a lot in my work. That's why with the geometric work and all of these things, like being very precise with everything, having to like yeah. And that's why I kind of like try my best to use watercolors to keep myself like in check of like not to be in control all the time because you
Mm.
cannot really control watercolor. Even if you do, you're still like under the pressure of like if I make a mistake, it's not fixed. Like you can't really fix it. So you have to let go. You have to let go to the process. Yeah. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You said something a minute ago that piqued my curiosity. We certainly have talked to a percentage of people who speak of the conversation about I did what I was expected to do. And we've had guests on the podcast from a variety of different cultures. And some cultures that's very strong in, like you just do what you're told. And then other cultures, there's a what we want you to do. I mean, here in the United States, there's a few parents that literally force your hand, but it's not quite as I know in some countries, if you don't become, what they want you to be, your whole family's disgraced. And I, I'm interested in because I know our listeners are interested in this because it's so prevalent. You you made like a very abrupt pivot. You stepped away from the medical profession, left your family, left your country of origin, moved to the United States and became an artist. And that's a big friggin' deal. I'd love to know a little bit more about who you had to become to step away from all of those expectations.
It's definitely a work in progress because I've been like the past few years like unlearning a lot of things and like all the negative self-talk and everything like going through this whole process of like because especially that I haven't uh been to an art school or anything, so there's definitely always the negative self-talk of like, oh, am I really an artist? Am I just like doing it for like what am I doing here? For example, a few people asked me if I would like teach them, and I'm like, am I good enough to teach? Like, all of this self-talk,
Okay,
like,
the answer to that question is unequivocally, yeah, I can't say that word.
yeah.
Yes, you
Mhm.
you you have you absolutely can
Oh, thank you.
teach.
Thank you. But yeah, it definitely interestingly, like I come from an Egyptian like Egyptian family, Middle Eastern family, but it's not the stereotype of a woman coming from the Middle East here. It's different than how I grew up. I was like I'm raised in a pretty much like we're not a conservative family at all, but when it came to education, my family is like they're all physicians. So being a physician is like you have to be since I was like very little and I cannot even dream about something else. Like you're a doctor. You have to be doing good in school because you're and I did good in school. Fortunately and unfortunately, I'm smart, so I got the grades. And I ended up going to medical school. And let's say that I realized like the way I was doing things, I definitely was a huge people pleaser because I just wanted to keep the peace in some way. So I went into medical school. I finished the whole thing. I'm good at studying in general, so I finished the whole thing. And then for me, like at that time, getting married and moving here with my ex-husband to the US was kind of like freeing in some way because I'm finally away from especially like my parents, especially my mom, like from being like from having to do this because I was already so miserable. I was good at it because I can be good at anything, but I was like, where is this going? Like I don't know. And I really at that time too, I really needed to leave the house. Like I did make a few bad decisions in order to kind of like be able to escape in the most decent way possible. Like,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah. So when I came here to the US, I was like, I'm already here and nobody can tell me to do something that I'm not comfortable with, and I can let me just start. But the thing is, I realized like, oh, I'm a married woman, and now I'm having a baby, and then another baby. So yeah, so it's like life. So yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
yeah,
lot of life happening. I
There's something else. Let me say one more thing, Dwight, and then I'll pass it over to you. One other thing that comes to mind when you talked about not having an art degree. Now, I don't have any hard statistics on this, but we have had these conversations with a bunch of people, and it's a cross section of just creatives. It's the macro of the micro, or however you say that. And I can tell you that fewer of them have art degrees than don't. You are in the majority. I'm in the majority. Dwight's in the majority. We're all three artists, and none of us have any kind of art degree. Now, Dwight has degrees, but they don't have anything to do with art.
Nothing.
And when you look back at some of the greats, most of those people didn't have art degrees. I would, this is my opinion, I would never base whether or not I'm a viable artist on whether or not I've got an art degree.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I like, even though I wasn't like happy with being in medical school, but looking back at it, like it influenced a lot of things that I do in my art too. Like doing the figurative art, a lot of it because I have always been amazed with the human like the human body. Like I barely sketch animals, for example, even though I love my cats. I love them very much, but I don't but it's just the whole idea of this vessel that is fragile but at the same time is like amazing. Like it makes us do all of these stuff, but at the same time like it can get a disease and just like break down. But
Our
it's
bodies are living,
amazing.
breathing miracles, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just amazing. So just like all the gestures and all the movements that you can get from it, and also like the different types and shapes and ages, like it's amazing. So yeah. Anyway.
That's terrific. Yeah, all I was going to do is just kind of summarize the arc of your life in what you'd related to us. And it sounds like as you were growing up, when you were in your home of origin, following the path to be a doctor, you were playing Simon Says. And then it was kind of like when you got married and moved to the States, you were sort of on the path to losing in musical chairs because all of a sudden you're kind of doing something a little different from everyone else. And it sounds like in this latest unfolding where you're exploring new things, you're really inserting yourself in art circles and showing up, like fully showing up. You are breaking the mold and finding your own path. And I'm really proud of how, like, in all the ways that we show up. We go to events and we invariably will run into you. And I'm really happy with how, I mean, you've always supported us with our events as well. It was always great to see you there, but you kind of lead a life that's a model for anyone else. It's not about being ready, because if you wait until you're ready to go and have your shot, you're gonna be waiting a long time.
Yeah.
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 Dean, I just want to call out the amount of courage that it must have taken for you to step away from your family's desires and to choose to be the captain of your own ship and lead your own life. We talk to so many people. I know that takes a tremendous amount of courage, and your story sets an example and gives others permission to do that. So kudos, kudos, kudos.
Thank you. It's definitely not easy because like everybody wants to feel like they're belonging, especially their primary like family kind of thing. But I don't know, maybe because of my age or just because of what I've been through and all the changes and moving from one place to another. You can find your own people wherever you go. Just get out there. Don't isolate and just like get out there. Get out there. Sometimes it's definitely not easy, especially with the two little kiddos. Like they're not too little, but when I moved here, they were still like pretty little. Now they're 11 and 8. But like yeah, it's there are people around. Just get out there. So yeah.
There's a lot to be said for finding your people. I searched for my people my whole life and at times found little groups but nothing like I found 2.5 years ago when we stumbled into the creatives community. It was like, oh my God, I have come home. And now almost everybody that we socialize with or are in our lives in any regard are creatives in some form or fashion. Like we're very engulfed in the creatives community.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love the creative communities and the different ones too, because like the ones in DFW, it's so interesting like how it is different from Dallas to Frisco to like Frisco and Plano kind of similar, but like it's I love the diversity within the community too. Like yeah, how
Yes.
like, yeah, it's
Yes, we were in a very diverse room last night when we went to the Visual Arts of Frisco Guild. It was all ages, all skin colors, you name it,
yeah.
all gender associations and sexual orientations, and we love that. I think that's what makes the creatives community really special is we are so diverse and yet we play so well together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that you have engaged in some pretty ambitious projects. One of the places where we got to see you last year was you were showing at the other art fair, and I love the beautiful things that you put out on Instagram, and I love the beautiful portfolio of work that you have out there. Um, where does that drive that where does all of that output live? Because you do so much.
I can't say that I've been doing much lately, but but like
You
yeah,
got a library of
but
work.
yeah, but I don't know. I always have like a lot of like flight of creative ideas in my mind, and sometimes I randomly sometimes write them down. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I was with a friend of mine at It'll Do in Dallas on the dance floor. And
Mhm.
I just got a notebook out because I had like this image in my head. And then did I paint it eventually? I didn't, but I still have it somewhere in my notes, like there. But it's just like, and I know that eventually I'll come back to it. Like there's always this creative idea that comes and I just like I will come back to it. Um, so yeah, it's just inspired by things around me, or sometimes like certain situations. I remember last month I was in Houston and I was talking with a friend of mine there about like uh, childhood stuff and things like that, and what we go through like as women and things like that. And he was like, "Oh, you should try and do this into an art thing." And I'm like, "How?" How? How like and now since then I've been kind of like thinking about it, like how can this be expressed into, especially because, and I think this is the thing when I say that I don't have an art degree, because the ideas, like you can have plenty of ideas in your mind, but it's how to execute them. This is the tricky part. Because sometimes I would have the idea, but I'm really struggling to execute it or express it in a way that is that is not just for the other to see and understand, because everybody can understand the art that they see in whatever how it speaks to them, but in a way that when I myself look at it, I can see the vision in it, like because like what like it would make no sense if I don't see it in there. So, like,
I think you're describing an opportunity for collaboration. You know, when you're saying I have this idea, he's planted that seed. Yes, you've got this great idea. You're not sure how to execute it, but if you pull some other women artists in to collaborate on the project, together you would brainstorm and you'd figure it out, and it would be amazing.
maybe I like this idea. Maybe that's where I should be heading next, is like even if I can't execute it myself, like yeah, I like this idea. Okay, I like
You
this.
know, we
Yeah.
we have had so many conversations with people that have said the number one contributor to their art journey being what it is the collaborations that they do.
Okay.
There
Oh,
are some artists that are continually collaborating. They don't do a lot of solo stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Now, I haven't, I'm an emerging, Dwight and I are both emerging artists. I haven't even got a sense of my style yet, really. So I'm not doing any collaborating, but I think that that would be amazing. And based on everything story we've heard, everybody goes off about how it's just opened doors for them that they would have never dreamed.
Okay, okay. I'll highly consider this. But talking about style, I was concerned about the idea that I don't have a certain style because I like doing different stuff. And interestingly, I'm embracing it even more, like not having a certain style, because you don't want to be kind of like boxed into one thing. You want
I,
to
I think that
be.
sets you apart, Dina.
Yes, so that's the thing. Like if you can't find your style, this is not a like actually it's might be a better thing. Like it might be a positive thing.
You
So
know, I think for a lot of us, we try different mediums and we tried all different kinds of things looking for something that we really resonate with. And sometimes we struggle to find that, and we dabble with things, but we don't really get good at any of it. The difference that I see between that, because I've experienced that twice now. I'm in my second round of trying all kinds of things and not quite landing on it. With you, where I see that you're different, and this makes you really unique as an artist because we go to lots of art stuff. Your work is very diverse, but your skill in everything that I've seen visually is spot on. That piece behind you, I'm assuming, is one of yours.
yeah, yeah. It's,
That is amazing. And there's a difference in not being able to find your style and being able to have multiple styles. You're a rare being, but you excel at all of them. Everything I've seen that you've created has they're like different as night and day, and yet they're stunning. You have a gift.
think,
Yeah, and I think it's nice the way that you draw on what it is that you're taking in. Like it all informs what it is that you're actually going to put on the page. And I mean the way that you've had to play with the geometric patterns, the playful use of color, and like I said earlier, the those pieces that you did with the cowboy boots.
yeah,
There's
I love the idea because I when I moved here and I started like I live in Plano, so I started like driving more to Dallas, and I would see on the tollway and everything like Texarkana and then Texoma, and I didn't understand what this is until someone like, yeah, it's Texas, Oklahoma, and
yeah.
Texas, Arkansas, and I'm like, this is so cool. So let me do something TexGiza. So Giza, I'm from Giza, from in Cairo in Egypt, and Texas. So why not find like something to? And to be honest, I first started it with my girls. So I call my figure drawings of women my girls. So they're my girls. I started first with my girls, like as a woman. In the nude, and she's wearing cowboy boots, but she's also looking like she looks like an Egyptian goddess kind of thing with the bald head and like the eye, like the horse eye, with the geometric background behind her. So it's kind of like having this but then because Texas is still like in that, it's still pretty conservative when it comes to showing this kind of art. So I was like, okay, let me try something different. So I started with doing the cowboy boots because I got my first cowboy boots in Austin. When I went to Austin the first time, it was in 2023. And since then, I've been collecting cowboy boots. Collecting them. I love cowboy boots now. Um, so I was like, okay, let me draw and paint my cow. So the cowboy boots that I've been doing, these are cowboy boots that I have.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have those. And one of them, it's so funny, but the story of one of them, the one that has like the tulips in it,
Mhm.
I really loved it. It was a limited edition one in Tecovas, and I really loved them, and I wanted to get them for myself for my birthday, and then they sold out. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll paint it, and I painted it. And one day before my birthday, they came back in stock. So, so yeah. I know
Timing
it's
is
yeah,
everything.
yeah. It's a very like yeah, I know it's a very consumeristic kind of like story, but like yeah, I just love I love them. Anyway, so and then I started I love bluebonnets too. It's so funny how like you can come from a different culture, completely different background. Like I love this diversity within me too because I didn't I know a lot of immigrants who like immigrate to a different country and even like become a citizen. Like I'm a citizen here and all, but like they immigrate to a different country and they still um can't like even give a try of like blending in any way. I might have blended in too much, but like having this and like, yeah. So like being like even when I lived in New Orleans and in New Orleans, I was like, it's beautiful here. And I was like, I'm part of this. Like even they were celebrating 300 years of New Orleans. And I'm like, the past 3 years, I'm part of those 300 years. Like this is yeah, like it's and like even till now I would bring king cakes for my kiddos because they're both born there and stuff like so it's just like whatever place that we were part of like it kind of like gets blended more into our like my like our culture and our being and like yeah so Texas has a huge influence to be honest like, yeah. Like, yeah
I
it's
love it.
overpowering so yeah.
So, with all the diversity of your work, in each of the different styles, do you have a body of work in that style?
This is a problem of mine, and I know that I am like very like this is something that I lack in, and this is why I'm not like showing in galleries or anything because I don't have a body of work like I if I'm doing something a certain style, I would have like three paintings or four paintings of that style, and then I jump into another thing. I don't have ADHD, or maybe I do and I'm in denial, but I don't. I just jump into a different.
ADHD runs very high in the creatives community.
I don't know. I don't want to say because I don't want to do it.
You know,
I, like yeah,
Dina,
I don't want to add another thing that's another extra thing that makes me like dwell on my shortcomings. Like,
With the diversity of your work, if you went back to each of those styles and developed a body in each style, you would appeal to a broad range of galleries.
I know. And this is what talking about the other art fair, I did the other art fair twice. I'm not doing it I'm not doing it this year, but I did it twice last year and the year before. So the year before, it was my first time ever doing something like that of showing my art in a booth and standing in front of it. And to be honest, I didn't really know what to bring, especially that I have different styles, different things. And so I was like, okay, let me bring in the thing that is so fully me creating for myself, not something that is a little bit like twisted to cater to the eyes of someone else. So I brought my girls.
Good for
And
you.
it's good, but at the same time, I learned something about like Texas more of like a it happened a few times where like people crossing by my booth and like there would be like young kids and their moms would be covering their eyes, even though like the nudity is like not in your face, because the other art fair has certain like uh not criteria, what's the word for it, like they have certain like things, like if it's
Rules and
completely,
regulations.
yeah, regulations. If it's so nude, they are not gonna let me put it up anyway. So it wasn't, but still, like watching this dynamic, it was pretty interesting. But I also learned something about like who the people who are interested in my art are, because it's a lot of it was more like women, a lot from the queer community too, that were so interested in it, especially like the prints and all of that of mine. Some of them are like kind of like the spiritual crowd. So yeah, so that was it for this first time. That was in 2024. Last year, I was like, okay, let me bring in all my geometric stuff, and it definitely was much more attractive because it's so bright and colorful, and people were like really stopping by my booth a lot, which was a good thing. So I'm like, this is nice to know about like what is more appealing to the crowd here. But at the same time, as much as I love to do that geometric work, it's very technical. So I don't really express myself much in it. It's more
It's like
about,
coloring inside the lines, isn't it?
yes, yes, yes. So it's very technical, it's very repetitive, which is actually I started doing it. I started doing that geometric work as a way for meditating. So, and I love doing it, but this is not how I really express myself. It's more of like just to free my mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, the drawing behind you, I mean, there's lines in it, but they're not straight. I mean, every line is its own individual piece of art. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm just going, it is kind of a gigantic female doodle.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's just really breathtaking. I think that you you need to find a specialized audience for your girls because they're out there. They're out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think you really need to lean into developing that work with the girls because the only way that your audience is going to find you is if that they know that you're there.
Yes, and there it doesn't matter what you're painting, there's always going to be an audience for it. There's going to be people that cover their kids' eyes and make snide comments under their breath. We have to learn to be um like immune to that. We went into a restaurant a couple of weeks ago for a gathering. There were like, I don't know, five of us at the table, and it was a really cold day. And I had on some Holy Levi jeans and a sweatshirt. I was dressed down, but I put a big leopard fur coat on. And as we were walking out of the restaurant, there was a couple that, looked like they were from West Texas. And she couldn't get his attention fast enough, and they stared at me, pointed and stared at me as I walked by in my big fur coat. And that would upset a lot of people. I got like just a laugh out of it. I just, I just, I just laughed, because I dress for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I wear my hair for me. Even when I paint, my goal is to paint paintings that take my breath away. I don't care if they take anybody else's breath away. And there's a certain, I haven't always had this. It's been a lifelong process to get to this immunity where I have, as the old saying goes, just less fucks to give.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Your girls are beautiful,
Thank
and
you.
there's definitely a market for them.
Yeah, yeah. It's not really much here in Dallas, which is fine. I'm just so I've been kind of like trying to explore other areas, but within because I have to stay in budget because any if I want to go anywhere outside of DFW, I have like my two little kiddos. I have to like find someone to stay with them and all of that because I'm still a single mom. So I will be in Austin actually next month for an art like the same idea like the other art fair, but it's in Austin. And what encouraged me is because I have this friend of mine that I met through one of the art markets that I've been doing here in Dallas. He has like this product line, like skincare product line. And it is so funny, like he is white as you know, but his skin line is very much inspired by Egyptian beauty things and stuff like that. And it's called Raw Cosmetics, or I think Raw something else, but it's Raw, like RA. And we first met in 2024, and he gave me a lot of products like while we were picking up our booth. He gave me a lot of products, and I was like for free. And I'm like, oh man, he's amazing. And then I met him again last November for the same art market, and I'm like, I gave him one of the prints as a gift. So he put that print up because it's like I call her Isis, the goddess Isis, not to be
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
uh, Isis, and she's like very Egyptian, and I said like it would be perfect for his like because with his product line and everything. So he put it up at other art markets in Austin and places that he has been to. And he then texted me and he told me, I sold it. Send me your Venmo because I sold it. I'm so sorry, but I sold it. And I'm like, why? Like, it's yours. And he's like, send me prints of yours and I will put them at my booth. And he's an amazing person. He's an amazing guy. I really love like the idea of being around other creatives and whatever. It's just like amazing. And I did send him prints, and I would be sitting there and just like I'm getting Venmo. Like, I'm like, this is so yeah, so
Oh,
it's good to kind of like explore different areas around like in the US because Dallas is beautiful. It's an amazing big city. It has a lot of art in it and everything, but definitely it can be limiting in certain
it's
aspects.
conservative. It's
Hmm.
conservative largely. So I just got a hint, hint. There's a potential collaboration between you and the makeup guy.
I don't makeup guy. Who's makeup guy? Who makeup guy?
The
No,
guy
the
that
guy with the skin products.
the skin
No,
products.
no, I don't think so because he has already his own like style for the everything. But the collaboration here is him accepting to have my things at his booth.
Hmm.
That's the collaboration. So yeah, yeah.
I don't know. You're Egyptian and you're gorgeous. You could be a spokesmodel for his line.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll ask him.
I mean, put it out there. I mean, what a better
But
way
they're
to get in
amazing
front of
products too.
people?
So yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, just think about the publicity. If you were a spokesmodel for that makeup line, that cosmetic line, you'd have exposure to people where you could then share your art. And I lived in Austin before I moved to Dallas. They are a much more liberal community, much more open, and your girls will do well there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited to go there next month and see how things will turn out. Like really excited. Excited also to meet up with a few friends there too. It's a beautiful city. Beautiful city. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a traffic problem, but it is a beautiful
Yeah.
city.
That's putting it mildly.
I can't say that about Houston at all. I didn't like Houston.
Houston's just very, very big.
I don't know. Something is off about it, especially with the weather. I'm like, it has New Orleans weather without any of the charm.
Yep, there you go. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like living in a sauna. I lived there when I was a kid. I've lived all over Texas, but I lived in Houston for 6 years and I was a child and I still remember how bad the humidity was. It's suffocating.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, question, we've talked about a lot of stuff. I want to circle back to our conversation about becoming because we've talked about the possibility of you appealing to a lot of different types of galleries by developing each one of your styles into a body of work. Now things are changing in the art world, but if you're going to go the route of galleries and want to be in galleries, that body of work, everybody will tell you it's important. So the question is, who would you need to become to be able to develop those various bodies of work? What would need to change in here?
I just need to get out of my mind about like being not good enough because I know I'm good at certain stuff. And the thing is, my target is not, my goal is not to be in a gallery. Like this is the thing. Like my goal is to have my art out there regardless the way like is if it's an art market or even like on my website or just like going on the street with it just to like it's more about just creating and putting it out there because I have always created and had to hide it but now I don't need to hide it anymore. I have an interesting relationship with my art because of how like the environment that I grew up in. So that's why like I don't want to go too much in details because it's very like it's sensitive because it has to do with my especially with my mother so yeah it's very messed up too like I don't know like even seeing my kids how they doodle all the time and they are still good at school so I'm like what is what is wrong? I'm like yeah it's not that hard to like it's hard to raise a child but it's not hard to really accept them like it's just yeah so I don't want to be hiding things anymore. Like I want to express the way I want to express. Like lately, I've been doing a lot of sketches of myself. And this is because this has been something that I've always done, but I never really put it out there. Just started like posting them lately. And it's so funny. I definitely get a lot of like interestingly strange like DMs and whatever, but I'm like, whatever. It's like when with freedom and certain things comes certain responsibilities. So I knew that I'm putting this out there. I will definitely be getting certain kind of attention, which is not the attention that I'm seeking, but whatever. There are lots of interesting perverted or like people that think they're funny, but whatever. I'm still doing what I want to do, as long as I'm keeping myself safe in whatever way. Um,
Well, good for you for not feeding the trolls.
yeah, like mentally and physically, I'm doing well. So, but I can understand that if I'm not in a strong mental position, I would definitely would be very hard doing something like that. So, but I'm thankful I am. Um, but yeah, but and the other thing that I have been really I've been kind of like thinking about it for the past 2 years and acting on it, but kind of like in a slower process. It's been taking me a little bit more, painting murals
Oh,
because I want to go big, and I realized like going big on canvas is not the thing really for me. I love painting with wall paint. So I did do this project a couple of months ago at a new restaurant that opened in Uptown Dallas. It's called Babel. I did like a ceiling mural. I did like the sun and stars around it and stuff like that. And I loved painting it, even though my neck was like I was standing like this all day but on the ladder, but I loved painting it. And so lately I've been also like talking about collaboration. I can't say that I'm collaborating with her because it's more like an apprentice kind of thing. Like I have a friend of mine who is a muralist in Fort Worth. I go and also here in Dallas, but she works mainly in Fort Worth. I kind of like go and like help her and learn from her. Yeah, she's so cool. So yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of like am working on more lately too. So yeah.
I love murals, and we know several muralists.
yeah. I'm eager to go and check out what you did on the ceiling of Babel.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it's so interesting because I was so with murals, you kind of like have your own style, but at the same time you're being hired by a client to do their own vision. So it's really nice having this kind of like balance. Like I'm expressing myself and which kind of self-expression am I using? Like for this one, it's not really about the design, but it's more about like my brush strokes and how I'm doing it and how it's like yeah.
We have a friend that's a muralist, and she's into birds. And so she's traveled to, I think, to Europe, hasn't she, Dwight, to do a mural? She's been some exotic places and
Yeah,
gets these big jobs. And
she's been all over the world.
like she's had one job that was something like $100,000 job to paint a big mural. And her one rule where she, you know, retains something for her is she said, all of my murals have at least one bird in them. I'm a bird lover. And so if I'm going to paint a mural for you, the only way I'm going to do that is if you let me put a bird in the mural. And they let her.
Yeah. And for listeners, you can find out more about her in episode 39.
Andrea Holmes.
Andrea Holmes, Birds, Brushes, and Breaking the Starving Artist Myth with Andrea Holmes.
He has all this memorized. It's just crazy. I don't know how he does it. I'm envious. What a great story, Dina. You just have so much going for you. I want to hold space for you to overcome whatever doubts you're having about yourself because girl, you got it going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep reminding myself that. Plus, I do a lot of like interesting stuff in the art community too. So I'm proud of them. Like I do host these figure drawing meetups. I don't teach in them, but I provide the space and the model and the like snacks and all of these things and also like I get to time because the model would be doing like short and long poses. So it's more like being the one in charge of the uh what is the word? Somebody told me the word for it. I forgot it now. But just in charge of organizing everything. But it's like yeah, there's another not referee. It's like yeah, anyway.
So,
Uh
what's holding you back from teaching?
Uh, looks like because I'm working now. I know we're January 20th, but I'm working on my business plan for this year. I'm a few days too late, but late better late than never. Working on the business plan because I have a couple of opportunities uh that I had since last year that I've kind of like been putting like sulking on or and just like just trying to figure out how can I do it if I'm good enough to do it. But this year I feel like I should just give it a try. Because even if there's no real failure. That's the other thing that I can like it's not gonna be because it's not like I have a human life that I have to kind of like revive or something. It's just like it's art.
Yeah.
Regardless who's gonna show up, there's gonna be paint. We're still gonna have fun. So just like take it easy. Take it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just to bring it around to a baseball analogy, it's better to swing and miss than it is to just foul out. If you never take your swing, it's kind of painful. You'll never know what you could have done.
Exactly, exactly. Like with the figure drawing meetups, I started it over a year ago. And I was co-hosting with another artist friend of mine. And because I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do it by myself. Even though I'm the one who provided the space
Hmm.
and all of that, but and then like no, it can be done. And then since December, I started hosting a second one completely by myself with Nostalgia and Noise. They do like events and things like that
We're
in
Hmm.
Dallas.
familiar with them. Yes.
And I started doing it. And the first time I was there by myself, so I'm the one setting everything. And it turned out great. And I'm like, I've been doing it for a couple of times now. And I'm like, I can do it. So, like, yeah, it's just like, I can do it. So, yeah.
You have a built-in audience to market to now. You have all these people that
Yeah,
have been coming for a year. Now you launch a class and people are just going to sign up. You've got no like
exactly.
and trust. I've been studying this recently and teaching art on your own terms, not in a school or anything like that, but on your own terms, and a lot of it online is an unbelievable way to supplement your income. In fact, it can be the biggest part of your income. I took an online class from an artist recently that lives in Canada. It was, I believe, 6 or 8 weeks long, and it was all pre-recorded. She would come on and do like a live Q&A once a week, but all of it was pre-recorded so that she's not having to work where people are just watching these recordings over those 6 weeks. And she had over 300 people sign up for this class and pay her $450 a piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
That comes to a meager $135,000 for 8 weeks worth of work. And most of the work was done when she pre-recorded the whole thing.
Yeah.
So she met on a live Zoom 8 times to make 135 grand.
Yeah.
She's really good at what she does. And it's you when you buy it, she's in an active class where there's a little community that you can talk to, but you get lifetime access to whatever you purchased. So, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
crazy what, and she just promotes it on in Facebook ads and
yeah,
fills
Well,
these classes right and left.
the beautiful thing about what you're describing with these meetups is how even in just transitioning from going from co-hosting to doing them on your own, you're proving that just by doing it, you carve the path that makes it easiest for you. You figure out what works, you throw out what doesn't, and you find your way to something that really is the right fit for you and for those that you're serving.
yeah, yeah.
Dina, how big is your list now? Your people that you send the invites to the live.
So we have a meetup group that has like I think over 500 people on it, but because that meetup group has been created with my friend who we co-host together. Um so but I kind of like took it over. So I took his people.
I I've got a suggestion and a challenge for you. Send all those people a little message and just say, I'm considering offering a class. If I did, would you be interested? And just see who pings back. I bet you'll
Okay,
be shocked.
okay, okay. Okay, we'll see about that. Okay, I like this idea. I
You
like
know,
this idea. Yeah.
you've already got this built-in audience. I mean, you've been preparing for something that I don't think you even are aware that you've been preparing for.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's so interesting, but people, because I remember when I started advertising the other one, my friend was kind of concerned that people would get confused, and I told him no, like I can like mark them like this is in this location and this one is in that location. Like people are not that feeble, like they know how to see words. So yes, like so yeah, so it makes sense because it's called Dallas Artists Meetup. And like it can be more than just like figure drawing. That's it can be like it's Dallas artists. They're
You can
meeting up.
expand it into anything you want to expand it
Yes,
into.
exactly, because there are some of the artists that would show up to the meetups. They do digital art, so they're basically sketching on their pads. Some of them come with paint, so they're not really doing charcoal and pencil. Some of them do watercolors. Some of them, so it's very cool seeing how everybody is just like coming in and expressing themselves. Some of them are very realistic, like they're realistic sketchers, and others are very abstract. Like they just want to do a few lines of like this is expressing that gesture, and that's it. So, yeah.
It sounds amazing. Do you
Yeah.
just have a blast when you do that?
I love it. I just love it. And also when the models, I am still going to post the one that we did on Sunday. The models are amazing. It's so amazing. Some of them, like the last one that we had, she's a yogi. And I'm like, I need to start yoga now because I'm so amazed at how she's like it's not about the flexibility, but also keeping the pose for 10 minutes, sometimes 20, like the 20 minutes are usually laying down, but the 10 minutes, and she was like contorted and she didn't shake at all. And
Wow.
this is amazing. That,
Wow.
that is so amazing. Usually the models, like especially if they have like one arm up, they start like, shaking, but no, I'm like, yoga is my new thing now. Like I want to do it.
You're quite accomplished. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Well, as we draw near the end of our time, um, is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners that we haven't had a chance to cover yet?
Any
I
words of
don't think
wisdom?
don't think so. I think I know they would sound cliches, but really because I think it's genuinely believing them, but just like really trusting the process. Like even if it's taking time and even if the process is moving slow, but just like trusting the process because like I feel like I'm like older than some of the creatives that started like earlier or whatever. Even though I'm young, but like I like older in comparison to other people. But the thing is that everything does take its time. And everything eventually, like if you're genuinely consistent with it, which is something that I need to work on, but if you're genuinely consistent with it and just keep doing the work, it does unravel into something good. Like, yeah,
Thank you for saying that. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We're so glad that you could join us.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you had me to like you're having me to.
Thank you for sharing your amazing story. It really was a joy to be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you.